Welcome to the Gaggle, where we talk politics in Arizona and beyond. This week, we get the price tag for the Trump rally and an important ruling for same-sex couples. But we start with Governor Doug Ducey, Yvonne, who endorsed Senate Republicans' effort to repeal Obamacare. Is this what decides it for Senator John McCain? He said he was going to look to Ducey for direction.
He has invoked the governor's name many times while talking about this issue, but it remains to be seen how he will vote on it. As we saw last time when Senate Republicans tried to ram this through back in July, the governor said, "Hey, Senator, I'm okay with this," and the senator gave it the big old thumbs down. So I think Ducey is probably also looking at the political calculus of this. I mean, really, what are the chances that this is going to be able to happen within the next week and a half, 2 weeks? How does it, get to House with no amendments? How does it even pass through the Senate? So I think he's probably banking on this thing not even going anywhere.
Big difference this time. He did it publicly and ahead of time. Last time, it was a cloakroom phone call that we found out after the vote had been cast. Why is that? Why the difference now?
I think it is to probably send a strong message to McCain early in the process that it is okay to be on board. It at least gets them one more vote earlier. That intrigue goes away and you can start focusing on maybe the Alaska senator and others who might have concerns with this.
So Jessica, the pepper spray has cleared enough that we can see the price tag on doing security for the Trump rally. How much did it cost and who pays?
It cost upward of $450,000 to the city of Phoenix. That's just employee overtime expenses. And that bill is going to stay in Phoenix. There's no plan for the city to ask for a reimbursement, and the campaign has not offered.
Is that routine? I know that, this was a campaign event. This was not a presidential visit, which you would expect they would foot the bill for.
Right. It is pretty routine, at least in this city. I know in other cities there have been, attempts to send a bill to the campaigns, but, the city of Phoenix, the city manager said, there was a civic response to someone being here. We're charged with keeping people safe. That's what our taxes pay for, so.
Aaliyah, the Arizona Supreme Court had an important ruling on same-sex couples and their rights. Can you break it down for us?
I'll try. It's a little bit convoluted.
Yeah, it is a little complicated.
This is an issue over Arizona's paternity law, which basically says that a father is a father if a baby is born within 10 months before or after a marriage. So that way, when you go to the hospital to have a baby, your husband doesn't have to get a paternity test there to get all the rights. We just assume that, and that kind of creates a family structure. So this was a same-sex couple, and so the question was, does the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell from a couple years ago mean that this should apply to women, same-sex spouses, women are a man, regardless of who they're married to, or is this an issue of biology and that piece of the law is related to biology? And the Arizona Supreme Court basically said Obergefell was very clear, and then the Supreme Court in the following case was very clear that same-sex couples get all the same rights of any marriage, and this applies too.
So this kind of eliminates a lot of the questions. I know after that Supreme Court ruling, U.S. Supreme Court ruling, there were, well, does this apply to adoption? Does this apply to this and that? Does this sort of kind of reset the whole table, you think?
It seems to. The justices were very clear in their ruling that they believe that the U.S. Supreme Court says all pieces of marriage, divorce, and they don't give specifics. So they basically say every area of marriage, impacting marriage, applies to same-sex couples. And therefore, the paternity issue, even though it says husband and man, applies to anybody.
Yvonne, what are you watching for this week?
How hard will the governor really work on this health care bill?
Jessica?
There have been a lot of people showing up to city council meetings on both sides of the Trump spectacle that was here.
Many sides,
some would say.
Huge sides.
Many sides. So I'll be continuing to watch at City Hall who's shown up.
Interesting. Aaliyah?
I want to see who gets appointed to replace Doug Little and how long it takes the governor to throw that person into the fire.
That's it for the Gaggle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.